still picking winners, 2-1 again. We're going to keep running it back in the pick three, and we're going back to the team Kentucky beat down last week in Columbia. South Carolina is only a 7-point favorite against a Troy team that lost to ULM. It feels weird, that feels off, but I don't trust the Gamecocks at all. They were so uncreative, unimaginative. I really see the Trojans here surprising them. They may not get the win, but the Fun Belt's going to keep it close enough. I can't see South Carolina covering many spreads this fall. Let's fade the Gamecocks. Take Troy +7.
That's a nice play, Nick, if you like losers. I'm going the other way. I'm taking South Carolina -7, and I like this a lot. South Carolina, they're pretty terrible. Can't believe I'm going to put real-life money on it. But they're hosting Troy, and they're only a touchdown favorite. Troy's not good. Just lost the game to ULM. I love Nick's faith in them, but it's not happening. Sandstorm will take over, and South Carolina has to win big to get some excitement back behind Shane Beamer, or this season could get very, very, very ugly for that team. I think they take down Troy and cover that touchdown spread. Go Cox. I'll edit that part out.
It's been a rough couple weekends here for Luckett's Locks, but here's where we bounce back in Week 5, heading to October. This is where the contenders separate themselves from the pretenders. We're starting off with Old Faithful, Eastern Michigan under Chris Creighton, 19-4 against the spread as a road underdog. They're hitting the road this weekend, going to Northern Illinois and catching points, 2.5. We like the Eagles here. They're usually a cover machine on the road, so let's ride EMU to give us a cover to start the weekend.
Another team that I think a lot of people like to hate on because it's fun to hate on Notre Dame. They haven't been overly impressive in their wins, but they just keep winning. I know people desperately want to see a G5 team in the playoff. The only way for that to happen is for Cincinnati to go and upset them in South Bend this weekend. But I have a stat for you. Notre Dame has won each of its last 5 games as a home dog, and they're 9-1 against the spread as a home underdog going back to 2008. Cincinnati's going to play in the slop, and that's exactly where Notre Dame likes to keep it. The Irish, they're going to find a way to grind out a win against the Bearcats.
For my second game, I'm staying in the SEC with another home touchdown favorite that really needs to win big to generate some excitement around their football team. Texas A&M, what are you doing? You said you were going to challenge Alabama in the SEC West, and you have not done that. Jimbo Fisher, you secured the bag weeks before the season with a nice extension. Then you almost lose to Colorado, and you do lose to Arkansas. Now you got a very inconsistent Mike Leach team coming to town, and only a touchdown. I like A&M to cover here. That line did open at 8. It is currently at 7. Might go back to 7.5. It's been a little all over the place. If I can get it at 7 where it is now, I'm locking it in. Texas A&M -7. Give me the touchdown. Aggies cover.
Heading to Stillwater, a huge game in the Big 12. All of a sudden, Baylor and Oklahoma State are contenders as Oklahoma is struggling, and Iowa State has a couple losses to start the season. In this matchup, Baylor squeaked by Iowa State last weekend at home and now must hit the road immediately. The Bears were fortunate to beat Iowa State after being -200 in the total yard battle. We like Oklahoma State here. They have won some close games so far, but they're slowly getting their act together under Mike Gundy. They catch the Bears in a great letdown spot. As a small favorite of 3.5, we love the Pokes this week. Lay the points, and let's see Oklahoma State become a contender there in the Big 12 race.
The last time, there's a lot of big dogs in the SEC this week, and as much as I'm going to want to jump on that Ole Miss game, I've got to jump on the Cats here. 7.5-point spread. 4 of the 8 meetings have been decided by 1 score or less, and even though I ultimately am very worried about the turnover bug, and I think 1 or 2 is going to lead to disaster and have victory snatched from the cause of defeat, snatched from the cause of victory, whatever that stupid saying is. I'm worried about the Cats winning outright with that money line, but I love the 7.5 points. This one's going to be a close one, folks, no matter what. Take it to the bank. The Cats are home dogs that you need to rely on this weekend in the pick 3.
For my third and final game, it has to be an underdog, and I'm taking you to Madison, Wisconsin, where the Michigan Wolverines have not won a game in 20 years. Figure it out, Michigan. They travel to Madison this time as a 1.5-point underdog to a Badgers team that just lost to Notre Dame. Wisconsin obviously stops the run very well. They're going to make Michigan throw. That's not the Wolverines' strength, but I still think they get it done. I'll probably do a little money line here, but I'm going to also take the 1.5 just because with Wisconsin games, the score could be like 3-2. So I'll play it safe there and take a point if you're going to give it to me. Give me Michigan, 1.5.
And finally, for our underdog of the week, we like fun here. So let's jump on the Ole Miss and the Lane train. Lane Kiffin returning home and looking to be the first assistant to beat Nick Saban. Currently, Ole Miss is catching 2 touchdowns and a hook. That line has slowly gone down since opening, but I really like the Rebels here. It feels like a great spot to get Alabama. Matt Corral looks like a potential Heisman Trophy winner, and if he performs well at Bryant-Denny Stadium, he will emerge as a favorite. Ole Miss has the ammo to keep up, and they stay within striking distance for most of the day. So let's hotty-toddy, gosh almighty, grab those points as Ole Miss gets the cover on the road.